This one's definitely going to be a little bit weird, but somebody's got to put it out there and somebody's got to announce this. So let's talk about the not so enjoyable experiences within a play party.
Amour, t'es là. Amour, je cherche ton chemin. Amour, c'est toi. Amour, pourquoi tu te caches de moi?
We're going to probably tone this down, so sorry if our energy is a little bit low, but we want to drive home some of our experiences within going to play parties that were not so enjoyable. What are some red flags? What's one experience that we had where, it affected us in a negative way? So I'm gonna let you open this one up because I think you have more knowledge on play parties than me for sure. So what would you consider? What are some of the elements that you consider a bad play party experience for yourself?
Yeah,
that's good.
I want to be careful about stigmatizing things and calling them good or bad. Because I've had some experiences that could have been better, I guess is a good way to put it. And then I've also had some experiences that were red flags for me, which are really opportunities for myself to listen to me, to listen to my intuition, and maybe make different choices. So I just wanted to share that. I would say to start with just logistic things, like is the space adequately sized for the group? Can everyone actually see each other, or are people having to hide in other rooms or peek through corners? Because if you're going to create a container, you're going to create a space for everyone to have intimacy. It's important that we all be heard and we all be in the same room. The other thing I would think about are temperature. I mean, if it's too hot, people get uncomfortable. If it's too cold, people don't want to take their clothes off. And just to be, just being up front. And some other things are, do you have water? Can people stay hydrated? Are there adequate restrooms? And then hygiene is also something to consider. You want to make sure that as they say, no one likes to cuddle in a puddle, right? So you want to make sure that you have the appropriate equipment, I guess is the right way to say it, whether that's towels or waterproof blankets or whatever, to make sure that people are being hygienic and everybody feels comfortable in that. So those are just some logistic things that I thought of. What else could you think of?
For me, I would totally agree. Like if the space is too small and it's packed and it's like kind of like, there's not a good amount of air ventilation. Oh my God, it's kind of gross for me personally. Smell is also another thing that I can't do. If it smells pretty bad, I gotta get up on out of there.
I actually forgot to mention personal hygiene, right? I said hygiene, but I didn't talk about personal hygiene.
Yeah.
So definitely you want, if you're gonna go to an event of this nature, you want to take good care of yourself and you want to make sure that you're fresh and we all feel that. And that goes both ways. I mean, we want everyone to be fresh and clean and smelling good and smelling like yourself, because the other thing is sometimes people are very sensitive to perfumes. So going like doused in cologne or perfume is also not always inviting. So think about that, right?
For sure.
Those are some things, because you're in the tight quarters, and usually we're kind of like butted up against each other like this. So you just want everyone to be comfortable. Some other things I would say are everyone being on time. Because if you're trying to create a container, you all need to be there together. You can't, somebody can't show up 2 hours later. It's going to disrupt the container. So everyone being on time so that we can start on time and hold space for one another. Those are some things. What other red flags would I think of?
You know what? I want to segue into this one. I think what makes for honestly a not so enjoyable experience for myself personally is if the host is not able to, the person who's running the play party is not able to take the responsibility of looking out for individuals who may not have enjoyable experience, because that stuff spreads like a virus. It affects the mood for everybody. So they have these things called angels sometimes at play parties, or they would call them something else, but usually these are the people who are supervising throughout the play party.
Or just available.
Yeah. Because sometimes they might be doing their own thing, but eventually what happens if you're having a bad experience, you talk to one of them, they will push out to the side what they're doing, I forgot the term. It's like, it doesn't matter who I'm doing or who I'm screwing. That's some of the terminology you'll hear them say, but basically what that means is no matter what they're doing, if you need some help, if you need somebody to ground you, they'll get out of the way and help you out.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Again, I want to bring it back and just say that I don't want to judge experiences, because sometimes at a play party, if you're going with your heart open and you're going with the intention of being with yourself, or maybe investigating your own boundaries and your own needs, you can have a trigger experience. That could happen. But you're in a safe environment, and so it doesn't necessarily have to be, although it's never, I wouldn't call it fun to be triggered, it doesn't necessarily have to be ultimately a bad experience.
Yes.
Because it could be a learning experience, it could be an opportunity for personal growth, and having those experiences in a space where you, as Ryan said, you feel safe and you know there are people there that you can count on to hold space for you, that's a big deal.
And that's kind of what I'm saying. There's probably a play party out there where you're not having those people available, and that's a red flag to me. When they're not available, I gotta get out of there, because that means somebody else or me is about to get triggered and is about to go down.
Well, because then to me that disrupts safety.
Yes.
And safety is like my number one priority. So that's a big deal.
What about like alcohol and drugs, man? Like a lot of them are there.
Yeah, I personally.
That's a red flag to me personally.
I don't have a big issue if, there's somebody wants to hit a joint before an event or have a drink before an event, or, something like that. That wouldn't bother me. I'm extremely uncomfortable at events where people are intoxicated.
That's fuck.
Especially, I've been to a couple of things where I've seen women far too intoxicated, and it makes me very uncomfortable with the way that they're being treated in the room, and my whole protectress comes out, and I become very, instead of me being in whatever it is that I'm there for, I become vigilant about trying to look out for this other individual. So that's a big deal for me. The thing is that the oxytocin is going to start going, right? You're going to start getting your endorphins going, the oxytocin. So you kind of get a little stoned anyway.
You get
just
just
on your own body, your own natural chemistry. So you really don't need to do that. What else would I say would be a thing? I would say a red flag for me would be if there's not like kind of time out areas, like spaces available where you can just go and sit or catch a breath, or have some fresh air or a snack, because you do need those moments to reflect and pause and think about what you want next, and think about what feels right for you. And so I think having those spaces is helpful for that.
Absolutely. I think another red flag, we're just going through them because this is kind of what we've observed in other play parties, big and small. And, more so you, but me, after going through some of the play parties with you, it's been noticeable. But another red flag would be, I'm trying to think of it. Fuck, I lost my focus. Oh, jeez. What was a red flag? Oh, shit, I forgot. Oh, we're on a good roll, man. Anyways. Well,
I think something. I guess maybe I would call it a personal red flag. If you're in an event and
I just remembered it. Okay. So, sorry, we're cutting right back into this. So another probably red flag would be if you see people violating their agreements and they've already mentioned that they're in a relationship, chances are shit's about to hit the fan. And it's better just to get out of that space, because of the fact that, usually when people are violating their agreements, I would imagine it opens up the potential for a ripple effect to happen, meaning that this person's gonna get pissed off, which means they're gonna find that person, and who knows, they might have an argument and it may draw you into it, and it probably has nothing to do with you, or maybe you were in the middle of doing some fun with this person who violated their agreements and they never told you. It's something that's just better to avoid. If you know people already have agreements, if you know they have agreements, and they haven't mentioned them to you, chances are it's probably not the space you need to be in, and probably you want to just get out. That's just my personal opinion. Thankfully, that hasn't really occurred yet, but I know if it happens, chances are it's going to be pretty messy.
So you're just making up things to have red flags about?
No, that's definitely. Would you say that's a red flag? Somebody's going against their agreements, straight up.
I think that's a personal. I don't know if it's a red flag for the event, as it is maybe a personal red flag.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
So I'll speak. That's my personal thing. If they're going against like a solid agreement that they've not made up, that they have agreed upon, and they're going against, and you know this, I would probably take a step back.
Yeah, I mean it's a personal choice, right?
Yeah.
On that line, I would say knowing what you need and what you want, and then a thing for me about so if I'm at an event and someone is not comfortable sharing with me their safer sex agreements.
Oh,
that's a personal red flag for me about that individual.
Yeah.
You know, like if I can't have an open conversation with you about safer sex practices, then for me, that means I'm probably not interested in engaging in a sexual activity with you. And the other one that kind of goes along with that is I like to talk about what does it mean if we connect. I'm in a partnership. I'm not looking for another partner.
And these are some things that you probably will mention in a play party, things that you'll hear. So look out for those things.
Yeah. You know, we're in an open relationship, so I'm not prohibited from, you know, engaging or finding other people that we might want to engage with together or any of those things. But my bench is a little full right now, so I'm not actively looking for other ongoing partners. I'm available to play at parties and, you know, enjoy things. I see clients, you know, I do things like that. So if I can't, when I talk to somebody, if what they think is going to happen if we connect is that we're now boyfriend and girlfriend, that's a red flag because I have a boyfriend. Okay, so.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, overall, I mean, I can't really think of any more red flags because overall the play parties that we have gone to,
awesome.
they're hosted very well, you know. I mean, so don't like let this video convince you that you shouldn't go to a play party because a lot of the ones that we've gone to at this point, and I would say I've gone to 3 completely different ones, completely different types of play parties.